Hi everyone. Now we are going to discuss about the topic of electron microscope. On this title we are going to discuss about the topics of basics of electron microscope and advantages of electron microscope over ordinary optical microscopes and applications of electron microscopes. So these are the three topics we are going to discuss by today's class. So you already know about what is an electron microscope. The wave nature of a moving electron is the basics of electron microscopy. Especially this type of electron microscopy was first introduced in the year of 1932. So you already know well the resolving power of any optical instruments is limited by diffraction and is proportional to the wavelength of the light or the source what we are used to illuminate the specimen. So we have a general formula, delta lambda is equal to 2 sin theta divided by lambda. So you know well the magnification factor is the inversely proportional to the wavelength of the electromagnetic wave or the light source or the source we are used of. So we already known well whenever you start working with the concept of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we discussed about the term of gamma ray microscope. Why we focused on gamma ray microscope on analyzing the position of the electron is whenever you have started using of the shortest wavelength of the electromagnetic wave, we can achieve with the highest accuracy on analyzing the position of the electron inside the atom. So we say it's a thought experiment which is not possible by practical means, whereas we have an option by following up the wave particle nature, duality nature of particles, we achieved with electron microscope. So you just know this, if you go for a good microscope which uses the visible light, the maximum magnification will be around 500x. Suppose you want to go for the higher magnification, what maybe the issue is you couldn't reveal more details, because if you start extending the magnification power, the quality of the image will goes on decreasing. So we just have a chance of utilizing fast moving electrons will have a maximum amount of velocity by means that we can achieve with the shortest wavelength. So we just get these details from the concept of de Broglie matter waves. So we already known the formula lambda equal to h by p, otherwise you can write p equal to mv. So we have a term, the waves are associated with respect to each and every particle will be equal to h by mv. So that is to be named as matter waves or de Broglie waves. So if you just consider electron is a particle, so each and every electron is associated with a wave. So what about the wavelength? Lambda will be equal to h by mv. So m is the mass of the electron, h is the Planck's constant, these two are constant with respect to electron. Suppose you increase the velocity which is inversely proportional to lambda. So whenever you start increasing the velocity of the electrons, by means that we can achieve the lowest or shortest wavelength of electrons. So only because of this reason we have a chance of utilizing electrons for magnifying the objects. So even you can have a chance of utilizing X-rays, but it is not possible to focus them adequately. So that's why we are mostly believing with electron microscope. If you start analyzing what is the principle, so the principle is very simple. A particle of mass m moving with a large velocity behaves like a wave of wavelength lambda equal to h by mv. So this wave nature of the particle is used in the construction of an electron microscope. So this is the real principle of electron microscopy. Then what about the optical microscope? You just imagine the case, an electron microscope is very similar to optical microscope, where in optical microscope we are using of light of visible region for focusing of an object by using of suitable lenses. Whereas in electron microscope, electrons are used instead of an ordinary light source. Focusing is done by using of electric and magnetic fields. So for an example, if an electron is accelerated to a potential by 60,000 volt, have the wavelength of around 5 in 10 power minus 12 meter. So it will be equal to, if you say it is an Armstrong unit, is equal to 0.05 Armstrong unit. Have the wavelength is 10 power 5 times shorter than the wavelength of visible light. So we already know in this case the resolving power of the microscope is directly proportional, or it is not directly proportional, it is it is proportional to the wavelength of light used. Actually we have to say it is inversely proportional. Whenever you start using of the shortest wavelength, then the accuracy or the resolving power of the microscope will goes on increasing. Okay, correct? Now we are just going to discuss about the construction features of a electron microscope. He already told that an electron microscope have electric and magnetic lenses for the focusing purpose of electron beams over the object. Suppose you have to consider about electrostatic lenses. You just see the diagrams given on the right side. You just find whenever the electron beam is passing through the cylinders, you have A and B, it's a curvilinear cylinders. When we are supported with high negative potential on one side and high potential, positive potential on opposite side. You know, when electrons have negative charges, when it is passing through the metallic cylinder with the connection connected with a high negative potential, we have a chance of, because of the high metallic cylinder connected with a negative potential, you just create a curvilinear or semi-circular shape of electrostatic force of attraction. So by means that we can see that the electrons start bending because of force of repulsion is given by the electrostatic potential difference between point A and B. So because of the force of repulsion, we have a chance of the electron beams are started converging to the edges. So by means that you just notice that in electron beam circuit converged with respect to the potential difference maintained between the point A and B. You already known well, because of the negative potential applied on one side, the retarded force will be happening. By means that the electrons will slow down. So to increase the velocity, we have to apply with positive potential on opposite side of the metallic cylinder in position B. By means that the velocity will be moderately accelerated by using of high positive potential. So the focal length of the electrostatic lens can be changed by adjusting the potential difference between the cylinders. But if you go for an ordinary optical microscope, we are utilizing of glass lens with fixed focal length. So we have a chance of less magnification power or less focal length leads with less magnification power of the particular optical microscope. So that process is avoided by using of electron microscope. So this one is electrostatic lens for focusing electron beams is the first option. Whereas we have a chance of magnetic lenses to be utilized for the purpose of focusing electron beams. So you just notice that if you have a coil, it will be connected with the electric current. So what is happening? Whenever current is flowing through a coil, a magnetic field is induced. So we just having of two different two coils on sides of the electron beam. So you know well, you have electrons have negative charge. When you start moving, definitely you have its own magnetic field will be there. So whenever the electrons start crossing over the magnetic field, it just get retarded. By means that we have just noticed that the magnetic field have a gap. So in this gap, the magnetic force of attraction or repulsion is happening with respect to the position of the coil. So we have a chance of the path of the electron will get changed due to the implication of the magnetic field happening over the fast moving electron. So the focal length of a such magnetic lens depends upon the quality of the coil and the current carries into the system. So adjusting the current in the coils, the intensity of the magnetic field can be adjusted, and then the focal length of the system will be easily adjusted. So because of the easiness of controlling the focal length while comparing with the electrostatic lenses, most of the electron microscope employs with magnetic lens for the purpose of focal length or for the purpose of increasing the magnification power of the microscope. Now we just think about the constructional features of the electron microscope. You just notice that. So we have an electron source where we have emission of electrons are there. So those electrons are passed through the magnetic condensing lens. By means that the direction of the electrons are transferred in a straight manner by application of magnetic field. So just notice that all the electrons are start moving in a straight line and to be exposed over the object on this position. I know well once we have a chance of scattering of electrons are there due to the interaction with the electron over the object. So it just start hovering up, scattering. So now the scattered electrons are again converged by using of an objective, magnetic objective lens, and then we are just achieved with the first type of, we say about the first magnified image of the object is received on after the position of magnetic objective lens, and then we have one more option of projection lens, so to further improving the magnification factor of the object. So with respect to the increasing potential difference on this magnetic projective lens, we can get the enlarged view of the object. So the projection lens forms a real magnified image on the fluorescent screen. So regarding the final image preparation, so for SEM we have an option, electron microscopy, we have an option of either we can use a photographic plate or a fluorescent screen for the production of image or magnified image of the object. So on the left side you can see the analogy of the electron microscope with respect to the light microscope. The same case in respect to the light source of optical microscope, we are replacing electron source as a source of illumination of the object, and then instead of a condenser lens to condense the light source to the particular direction, here we are using of magnetic condenser lens. Likewise the light is exposed over the object, and then we are using of objective lens for the image, increasing the magnification power of the object. Likewise instead of objective lens we are using of magnetic objective lens in electron microscope, and then the second option is we are going to improve the further magnification factor by using of projector lens. I say about magnetic projector lens, instead of that in our optical microscope we are using of eyepiece for increasing the magnification factor of the image which is created by the objective lens. Okay. So it's a simple analogy between an optical microscope and the electron microscope. So it was noticed that while we are going with use of electron microscope, we can easily alter the focal length of the lenses by using of electromagnetic system. So we can definitely achieve high magnification factor while comparing with optical microscope, because in optical microscopes the objective lens or the projective lens are we fixed with a proper focal length, it won't be varied. So because of that the magnification power is totally restricted. So this is the most important application of electron microscope on analyzing the objects with high resolution. So you just think about the case in an electrical microscope, current carrying coil produces magnetic field, so that act as a lens to focus on an electron beam on a specimen and then produce an enlarged image on a fluorescent screen or a photographic plate. So to prevent the beam for being scattered and thereby blurring the image, a thin specimen is used and the entire system is evacuated. So to increase the accuracy of imaging the object, so we are doing all this case, we have to utilize very thin specimen because of the scattering will be less. Likewise the system will be totally evacuated by means of, if there is a chance of electrons are to be losing its energy during its path, so by means that the total system is evacuated. And then you just think about the case of the technology of magnetic lenses does not permit the full theoretical resolution of electron waves to be realized in practice. So for an example, if we have a chance of utilizing 100 kilo electron volt of electrons having a wavelength of 0.037 nanometer, by means of the actual resolution what we are expecting to be around 0.1 nanometer. So whenever I start using of 100 kilo electron volt of electrons having a wavelength with an accuracy of imagination to the image to be prepared, image to be got with a resolution of around 0.0037 nanometers, what we are expecting by theoretical mode. But by electron microscope, if we are using of 100 kilo electron volt of electrons, we can achieve with a maximum magnification factor to the scale level of 0.1 nanometers. So whereas if you go for an optical microscope, we can get the resolution of only around less than 200 nanometer scale. So whereas the magnification factor of an electron microscope to be achieved in the range of 10 lakhs times, while you are comparing with maximum of 5000 times of magnification by using of optical microscope. So that's why electron microscopes started using all over the world in all the experimental purposes, because of achieving with good quality, high resolution, highly enlarged view of the object while comparing with optical microscope. So regarding the second topic of what are the advantages of electron microscope over the optical microscope, here we just provided certain difference between optical microscope and electron microscope to analyze the advantages in a proper manner. So just notice this table. What may be the source? So for light microscope it is of visible light, whereas if you go for electron microscope it is of electron beam. Then regarding medium of transmission, you know well electron microscope required high vacuum condition to increase the quality of the film or quality of the image what we got, whereas light microscope only used in normal atmosphere itself. So now you consider the nature of lens what we are used in both microscopes. In light microscope we are utilizing glass based lenses, whereas in electron microscope we are replacing with the electromagnetic system. So whereas either you can use electrostatic lenses or magnetic lenses for manipulation purposes with the difference of focal length. And regarding the focusing mechanism, in light microscope we are utilizing lens position is adjusted mechanically, whereas in electron microscope current in the magnetic lens is adjusted. Otherwise we can increase the potential difference between the metallic cylinders by means that the focal length of the electron microscope will be varied. And regarding the manipulation factors, just point in light microscope switch off the objective lens. It will be hard to change the objective lens by means that we want to go for changing the manipulation factor of the object or the system. Whereas in electron microscope, if you are just simply adjusting the current to the magnetic lenses, definitely you can increase the manipulation factor without adjusting any more equipments in mechanical means. And regarding source of contrast, you know well differential light of absorption is happening in light microscope, whereas electron microscope leads with scattering of electrons. So in light microscope the sample is mounted in the position by using of a glass light, whereas in electron microscope we need of a metal grade. And regarding the best resolution to be achieved on the case of light microscope, it will be around 0.2 micrometers. Already informed with that we have some theoretical expectations regarding the microscope what we are going to achieve. But as of the practical case, for the best resolution from light microscope we can go to the extent of 0.2 micrometer scale, whereas if you go with the electron microscope it will be around 0.5 nanometers. And regarding the practical magnification range for the optical microscope will be of around 1000 to 1500, to the maximum extent they say to be around 5000 times. Whereas if you go with the electron microscope it crosses more than 1 lakh times of magnification factor. And regarding the affordability, it was noticed that light microscope is very cheap because it using a very simple mechanism of utilizing a light based light sources along with glass based glass convex and concave lenses. So it is cheaper while comparing with the electron microscope, where it consists of high quality or highly sophisticated equipments, instruments like electrostatic lenses or magnetic lenses, and then we are producing a high potential difference between the metallic cylinders, or we need of high potential difference accelerators for the electrons, because we need to accelerate the electrons in the order of kilo electron volt. So these are highly expensive while comparing with a normal light microscopes. And then regarding the difference of optical microscope with electron microscope on parameters like size, we know well light microscopes are smaller and lighter and it is easy to move and set up. Whereas electron microscope we have sophisticated equipments, or the size of the equipments required is very big, so by means that it is heavy and so hard to move and set up. Regarding cost, we know well light microscopes are less expensive than electron microscope, whereas electron microscopes are so expensive. And regarding the type of light sources we are using, in optical microscope we are using of light of visible region for 400 to 700 nanometers, whereas electron microscope requires high energetic electron beams of wavelength around 1 nanometers. So we need that much of velocity based electrons for getting of the shortest wavelength. And regarding the magnification factor, we know well light microscopes have very much less magnification than comparing with electron microscopes. And then regarding the control of image formation, so light microscopes are used via glass lenses, whereas electron microscope utilizing of electromagnets due to negative charge of electrons. And regarding the resolution, light microscope have much lesser resolution while comparing with electron microscope. Whereas if we go for an advantages of the light microscopy and the color of images. So light microscope form images including the range of wavelength provided by the light source, but it was seen that it is often producing strains rather than the actual colors of the present nature or actual colors of the object. Whereas if you go for electron microscope, it produces a grayscale or sometimes it's black and white images. However, false color electron microscope are common and can be very beautiful. In some cases, we have a chance of utilizing the fluorescent screen of achieving good colored image, but most of the case we are getting electron microscope images of gray style or black and white style. And regarding the usage of the sample, light microscope may be utilized with the living specimens. Why? Because of it is of normal environmental procedure on just manipulation is going to be done. Whereas if you are going with electron microscopy, living specimens cannot be viewed using of electron microscope because of the system is totally evacuated, and then if it is released for open environment, definitely the quality of the image will be reduced. So because of absorption of electrons over the air molecules. So by means that living specimens cannot be utilized or viewed by using of electron microscopes. And regarding the image formation, you can notice that light microscopes images can be viewed directly by using of an eyepiece lens. Whereas if you go for electron microscopy, we have need of a photographic plate or a fluorescent screen to view the image of the magnified object lens. To view the magnified image of the object. So now on recent days we have started using with CCD system, charge coupled devices, by means the device which is used to transmit the data from mechanical to electronic, by means that we are achieving with a good quality image of the object on screen. So we have started using CCD, charge coupled devices, for producing of images of the object with high resolution. And if you want to say about what are the important applications or uses of electron microscope, so we know well electron microscope uses a beam of highly energetic electrons to examine the object of very fine scale. So the examination of object by using of high energy electron beams will reveal with the 4 types of analysis. The first one is topography. So it just says about how the surface look like. So this is the first option. Then the next one is morphology. So regarding morphology, we can analyze the shape and size of the particles which making up objects. This is the second option. Whereas if you want to go for the third option is analysis of composition. So we have an additional equipment to be named as EDS, energy dispersive spectroscopy. So it is about add-on equipment with SEM analysis. It is about scanning electron microscopic analysis. It's an additional part of electron microscope. The electrons is about energy dispersive X-ray analysis is the general term of EDS. So we are just analyzing the energy of X-rays coming out from the sample with respect to the exposure of high energy electron beams over the atom. So you know well the basic of how we got X-rays. Whenever fast moving electrons blocked by and heavy atomic elements, we are achieving with X-rays. The same concept we are applying on electron microscope. Whenever the specimen or the object is exposed with high energy electron beams, we have a chance of the electrons from the lowest orbit will be ionized, by means that we have a chance of electrons from the higher orbit level will come back to ground state by emission of excess energy. So that leads with emission of X-rays from the atom. So those X-rays have its own energy, so it is identical or unique with respect to each and every element of the system. So by analyzing of the energy of the X-rays emitted by the atom while we are doing of electron microscopic analysis, we can find out the composition of the sample which is used for microscopic analysis. So this is third one, composition analysis. Whereas we have a fourth chance of crystallographic information can be easily identified. So we just have a chance of secondary electron diffraction patterns to be achieved by taking of electrons. So by analyzing of that interplanar position values from the secondary diffraction patterns, we can easily calculate the crystal structure of the sample. So these are the 4 possible areas where we can utilize the electron microscope for practical applications. So one is topography, and next one is morphology, third one is composition, and fourth one is crystallographic information. And you just notice the same patterns what we got regarding the applications of the electron microscope. The hint is electron microscopes are highly used in industry to study the structure of textile fibers, surface of metals, composition of paper and paints, so on so. Likewise, in medical and biology, electron microscopes are utilized to study viruses, the disease causing agent, beyond the reach of ordinary microscopes. So just find the bacteria are shown in greater detail in an electron microscope. So you just notice a diagram here. It says that it just simply shows the pattern of saliva along with bacteria. So your knowledge of the structure of viruses enables scientists to devise methods of their destruction and thereby control the diseases. Likewise, in physics, electron microscope have been used to investigate atomic structure and structure of crystals also. So whereas in chemistry side also, we have utilizing of small particles forming colloids have become open to study and analysis. So likewise, plenty of options are there are utilization of electron microscopes. So I think you understand this topic well. We'll meet you soon with the next topic. Thank you.